Hi everybody, this is Kathy. Welcome back. Now, I just did a video and I highlighted this case among a few others that talks about the corruption in Raleigh County. And this case in particular was the Raleigh County Family Court. And that's the same family court in Raleigh County that the Whitakers are dealing with. The same one that seems like they're being treated unfair. Most of us can't understand why that family was taken and why did they all bow down to Eric Carroll. And makes you wonder if there's corruption going on in that case. But we're going to go over the cases, a few of the cases from that Raleigh County, because they are not immune to corruption. And they just had a judge here step down recently after she was charged with multiple conduct violation, a judge in the family court there in Raleigh. And we're going to go over a few of these cases. Now, I'm sure there are good judges and good people in Raleigh County, but it only takes a few bad apples. And if one of these bad apples is hearing your case, that's all it takes. Now, in this case, this judge was charged with multiple conduct violations because during her court hearing, she was hearing a case in family court. She was hearing a case from a divorcing couple who she wanted to know about some assets. And she apparently didn't believe the man. So she stopped the court and ordered everybody to go over to the man's house. And they did. So they went over to this man's house, and the judge ordered people to go over here to his house, and without a search warrant, they searched the property of this man. And the judge ordered that she wanted to go inside his home. And when he refused to let the judge and the police inside the home without a search warrant, she said that he was going to be arrested, put in jail, and they would gain access anyway. So he let them in, and what happened was, while she sat in his living room chair with her shoes off, I guess she apparently was telling police to search his home. And they obtained items out of the home of him, his girlfriend, and his child without a search warrant. He took action against the West Virginia court system. Now, this judge here tried to seek immunity, but was denied. And she admitted this had happened 11 times now, and she didn't see anything wrong with it. That's a Raleigh County family court judge there, or was. She did step down. Now, on January 30th, 2023, Goldston announced her retirement effective January 31st. She had nearly 3 decades of experience on the bench. So imagine 30 years. And she's admitting to 11 times where she went over and did this to other people. And just 2 days later, on February 2nd, 2023, of 2 West Virginia family court judges were being charged for lying under oath, and that was following the heels of this Raleigh County judge's retirement. So, yes, there is corruption that has been reported. Now, the fact that she sat on a bench in Raleigh County Family Court for almost 30 years and found nothing wrong with her going into homes with no search warrant, why she sat in the man's living room chair with telling people to open that drawer and open that cabinet and this and that, admitting she's done it 11 times and didn't see anything wrong with that. And this, like I said, she wasn't new on the job. So how many other judges are doing this? And sure, it probably happens in all different counties in different states. But I'm a little bit concerned about Raleigh County Family Court because that's what the Whitakers are dealing with. Yeah. This isn't just Raleigh County, it's the entire West Virginia State Police and other examples. And this got me really concerned because, I have to admit I was really happy to hear when the fraud investigation opened up by the West Virginia State Police against investigating Patrick Rourke and Eric Carroll. I was glad to see that because we all saw the money being mishandled, very huge, large amount. So I was very relieved to see that the West Virginia State Police stepped in. But once I started looking at this West Virginia State Police, I'm hoping, they do good on this case here with against, the crimes that appeared to happen against the Whitakers. And mishandling of the funds by Eric and Patrick. But this is a recent one. In fact, the date on here is April 16, 2025. And there is a lawsuit filed by this former superintendent of the West Virginia State Police, and is shining a light on a scandal that broke more than 2 years ago involving alleged wrongdoing by troopers. So, yeah, there's that. We're going to go over a few things. There is, there's a whole article on that you can read. And it says, news reports, federal investigations, and historical accounts indicate a persistent issue with public corruption in West Virginia involving officials at local, county, and state levels across the various branches of government and law enforcement. And some key instances and reports include state police scandals, ongoing scandal with the West Virginia State Police, which began in early 2023, involves allegations of misuse of funds, overtime abuse, SA, and a woman's locker room camera. A 2024 settlement was reached in a gender discrimination and retaliation lawsuit brought by a female trooper. Yes, and that was a $300,000 settlement. Now, this was a long-term employee, and this article is March 28, 2024. West Virginia State Police is still dealing with a number of issues that festered under former leadership, including a recent settlement where the agency paid $300,000 to one of its own. Talia DeVita became a West Virginia State Trooper in January 2003 and climbed the ranks to sergeant. In 2017, DeVita was transferred to the West Virginia Turnpike. As outlined in her complaint against the agency, that's when her troubles began. DeVita declined to talk to Eyewitness News on camera and directed her attorney to speak on her behalf. So, in about late 2018, she had some issues with some work environment concerns, raised those concerns with the first sergeant at the time, Robert Maddie, and really for about the next 6 to 9 months felt like those concerns weren't being heard. That's what her lawyer said. It came to a point in summer of 2019 where she pointed that out to him in an email and said, "I don't think I'm being treated fairly. I think it's because I'm a woman." Atkinson continued. She put that in writing to him, and after that, things got worse. DeVita claims her supervisor, then First Sergeant Robert Maddie, began to retaliate against her by unnecessary criticism, critiques, and harassment. The claim was based around kind of gender discrimination or hostile work environment, but also retaliation. Because that happened, Talia put these concerns in writing in an email, and she felt like she was being treated differently because she was a woman. And within 6 days of that, she got written up 6 times. And for context, Talia worked there 16 and a half years and never had one write-up. Not one negative evaluation, nothing. She puts this in writing an email. Within 6 days, she gets 6 write-ups. So, I guess long story short, she was given a $300,000 settlement, but they did not admit to wrongdoing. And she still works there. And this is the West Virginia State Police. So the West Virginia State Police has had some problems of their own. And then there's also judicial corruption. In 2018, the entire state Supreme Court was impeached amid a spending scandal. 2 justices were convicted of federal crimes, one for wire fraud related to the personal use of state vehicle and fuel, the other who had actually written a book on state political corruption for lying to the FBI about misusing a state vehicle and taking an antique desk. Local and county officials, cases of corruption have found in various counties. Historical context, West Virginia has a long history of corruption with numerous governors, former attorney general, other state and local officials having forced conviction or jail time over the decades. So I'll show you over here. They have up here it says corruption in West Virginia since 1945. And they also, well, here's some officials jailed for abusing the justice system. So there's been all kinds of issues with the state of West Virginia. Now here we have another article. Recent news reports detail several cases of corruption and fraud in Raleigh County, West Virginia, involving both public officials and private citizens. Now, remember, Raleigh County is where the Whitakers live and where they're going to court, and where this is the court, the family court that took their family away, and they haven't seen since, and it's going on 5 months now. Former prosecuting attorney misconduct. Former Raleigh County prosecuting attorney Benjamin Hatfield faced judicial disciplinary counsel investigation and a lawsuit regarding alleged misconduct, including SV, discrimination, and violating a protective order. His law license was later annulled by voluntary consent. You have the Housing Authority fraud. Former Raleigh County HA Executive Director and Financial Officer Laquita Lowe was sentenced to federal probation for stealing funds, federal funds, HUD funds, for the Section 8 programs for personal use, including unearned overtime. And then there was this related corruption, abuse of justice system, an older FBI investigation separate from the Raleigh County cases mentioned above highlighted instances of corruption in West Virginia County, where a sheriff and prosecuting attorney were jailed for abusing the justice system. Additionally, several individuals in Raleigh County have been sentenced for trafficking crimes. So yeah, there's ongoing issues with fraud in public and private sector misconduct within the county and surrounding areas in West Virginia. So there is all kinds of corruption there. And there are some good police, obviously. There's good all over the place, but like I said, a few bad apples. Now, this woman here found out that if you speak up, there may be consequences. If you are a whistleblower, you may have some issues when you speak up. Also, a history of corruption in their political and other government Since 1945, there has been issues. Let's just hope that the West Virginia State Police and Corporal Gilkerson can do right by the Whitakers. I hope this is not one of them instances where there's something going to go wrong. Let's hope that this is a thorough investigation that will produce some results for the Whitakers, since they don't seem to be having a fair shake in the court system right now. Let's hope the investigation goes well. Now, I did find this interesting because this popped up while I was looking. Raleigh County man arrested on multiple fraud charges after investigation. In this article on January 6th, just yesterday, Sheriff Frank Pretty announced that a Raleigh County investigation led to the arrest of a local man on multiple fraud-related charges. And this is interesting because on January 2nd, just 4 days earlier, 2026, Corporal McDaniel investigated a complaint. Sounds like a single complaint alleging fraudulent activity involving this Adam guy. Following the investigation, warrants were obtained charging Quisenberry with grand larceny, fraudulent schemes, 3 counts, and obtaining money by false pretenses. I just thought it was interesting how fast this went for this guy here, but we seem to, and I'm sure the Patrick Rourke and Eric Carroll is much, much more, involved than this one, but let's just hope there's results produced. Even though it seems like the Whitakers are not getting a fair shake at all or being treated fairly, not from us from the outside, let's just hope that they don't have a wayward judge in the family court. Because this wayward judge, after 30 years of sitting in that Raleigh County Beckley family courtroom, she saw nothing wrong with what she did. So let's hope the Whitakers don't have a wayward judge, because this is the same courthouse, probably the same exact courtroom that the Whitakers seem to be getting mistreated at. So let's hope for the best for the Whitakers and their family. I think they've been treated horribly unfair, especially the 3 that were taken into custody and never allowed to see their family. I sure hope that the Whitakers have a good judge and not a wayward judge, because it seems to me like they may be getting their civil rights violated. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. And with all the corruption in this county and the strange behavior that Eric seemed to have with this Raleigh County, let's just hope that things are fair for the Whitakers. Anyway, thanks for watching, and peace.